Hey, what's up, everybody? Today, we're gonna be going over some of my favorite rock and metal albums that came out this year, 2022, just as kind of like a final video to like send the year off because I have been kind of taking a break because, I just felt like it. It feels right to take a break from all the stuff during the holidays, and so, but I didn't want to leave you guys without one last video. And before I get into the albums, thank you guys so much for the support on the Dino Cazares interview. I was really nervous for that, and I didn't know how it was going to turn out, and it turned out better than I anticipated. It got cut off a little bit at the end. I don't know if y'all noticed. That was not intentional, but it's whatever. You live and you learn. The most of the interview didn't get cut, so I'm happy with that. So as far as my favorite albums of the year goes, the first five that I'm going to show you aren't really in any particular order of like favor, because these are just honorable mentions. I still have like a top 10, but these are just five more that I really, really liked that didn't quite make the cut. So, first up in the honorable mentions, we have Machine Head of Kingdom and Crown. I really enjoyed this album when it came out. I didn't really listen to it a whole lot else after that, though. The main songs I really listened to were like Unhallowed, Become the Firestorm, Choke on the Ashes of Your Hate. Those are like the main songs that I really vibed with. But I mean, the whole album was pretty good from what I remember. Obviously, Rotten and Arrows and Words from the Sky, those are the songs that already released. My Hands Are Empty is a great one too. But yeah, I mean, it's a cool album. No Gods, No Masters is also a pretty good one from what I remember. And yeah, it's just a pretty solid record. Slaughter the Martyr is also a really great song. Nice 10-minute long epic. So yeah, moving on. Next up, we have Requiem by Korn. This was in my top 5 albums of the year list, like halfway through the year, but it kind of just, I don't know, just better stuff came out. And my main issue with this album is the length. It's only like a half hour long, which, I mean, I'd say quality over quantity anytime, but like, I don't know, it just feels like it goes by. It's like you start it up, and it's like, as soon as you're having a good time, it's gone. And it's like, well, okay then. But I do like the theme of this album. It's kind of about like healing from losses and stuff like that. So obviously, especially have such a heavy album like The Nothing, this makes sense for the band to do. And so, I mean, I like a good bit of the songs on it. I like Forgotten, Start the Healing. Yeah, it's just overall a pretty solid album. Lost in the Granger, that's the one I was thinking of. That's the other single they released. Yeah. Next up, Oh What the Future Holds by Fit for an Autopsy. This was like the first album that came out on my radar in the year, and it's been consistently one that I jam to every now and again. It's a solid album. I like it. Is it the best Fit for an Autopsy album? I don't know. Maybe. I'd have to re-listen to their discography. I really like Sea of Tragic Beasts, and what was the one that came out before it? The one that has Black Mammoth on it. Let me look that up, actually. I don't remember. Fit for... Yeah. Probably wish that I was... Fuck. The Great Collapse. That's the album. Okay. I'm leaving that all in. Fuck you. Yeah, that was the album. So this one was really good, really strong. I like the little Gojira influence on songs like Far From Heaven. I love the pure, just fucking brutality of songs like Pandora and In Shadows. And I like Two Towers also. That was a pretty cool one. The Man That I Was Not, which is the album closer. I liked that one a good bit, like with clean singing and all that stuff. I love it when deathcore bands do clean vocals. I wish they'd do it more often, but it is what it is. Up next, we have The New Dark Ages by Gwar. This was like one of those like summer albums that I like really listened to when it came out. And it's just fun. Like, this is just a really fucking fun album. It's the second with Blothar on vocals. and it's just yeah, it's just a fun fucking heavy metal album. I like Lizzie Hale's guest feature on The Cutter. I think that's a really cool song. Um, but overall, it just just a really really fun album. And obviously Gwar have been kind of on the side of like comedy metal almost in a way, while still also being serious here and there, but not super often. And closing out the honorable mentions, we have Immutable by Meshuggah. I really, really enjoyed this album when it came out. I actually got to hear it like a day early because for some reason, with the release timings and stuff like that, I think it was maybe midnight in like Swedish time. So it was like 6 p.m. when it came out for me. Like, cause I just looked up Meshuggah Immutable because I was just like, wanted to find and see if there's any videos on it, whatever, because it was like the day before the album came out, and then I saw that the songs were popping up, and I was like, okay. And I was like, will it let me hear it? Because sometimes the songs will pop up, but if it's the day before, like it's supposed to come out, it won't play. It'll just like skip to the next song. Like how those YouTubers do, like those full album playlists, and they put them all in there, but you can't listen to any songs besides the singles because those aren't officially out yet. Yeah, they started playing, so I was like, oh shit. And then I looked on Spotify, sure enough it had it, and then I just listened to the whole thing, and I had a really great time with it. And then I listened to it again, farming for runes in Elden Ring, which was an experience, to say the least. And yeah, it's just a really strong, heavy album. I think it's one of my favorite Meshuggah albums, actually. Just as far as the listening experience goes, it's really consistent. So that's really that. Just nice, brutal riffs. I love it. So now, in going to my actual top 10 now, my actual top 10 is going to be a little bit of a roller coaster ride, I will admit. But I don't care. Top 10, number 10 is Afterlife by Five Finger Death Punch. Five Finger Death Punch have been getting a lot better since pretty much all the members have been getting sober, and the few lineup changes, replacing Jason Hook on lead guitar with Andy James was very much the right decision. Same with replacing Jeremy Spencer with Charlie Engen. He's a really great drummer, and I just really think that the band has gotten a lot better with those two guys in it, and with Ivan becoming sober. So I feel like I can count on Five Finger Death Punch to have, to make good music again. Because Justice for None was just kind of okay. And Fate was alright too. But this album is pretty good, actually. It's just solid, just heavy, catchy songs. You're not supposed... I don't think you're really supposed to take Five Finger Death Punch seriously. I mean, look at this album cover. So I know a lot of people are going to probably be pissed off because they're like, because they can't just tolerate the fact that anybody likes music that they don't like. So but I don't care. This is a good album. I love Five Finger Death Punch. I always will. I saw them live earlier this year. They were fucking awesome. So yeah, that's really about it on that one. Number 9, Disturbed, Divisive. I liked this album quite a bit. I was really disappointed the last time Disturbed released an album, which was Evolution. It just, I don't know, they tried to like evolve their sound in a way that is basically like half like heavy rock anthems that, we know the band for. All, the heavy riffs with the ooh-wah-ah-ahs, that's Disturbed. And then they also tried to do these like soft acoustic songs that had good meanings behind them. A Reason to Fight was about like addiction and stuff like that. And I think they had a song, Hold On to Memories, I think it was called, that was about like the death of Chester Bennington and Vinnie Paul and stuff like that. But just, I don't know. It's just those songs didn't really have much substance other than the lyrics. And that's just, I don't know. But they really bounced back with this one. There's really only like one ballad on the album, and that's pretty good. It features Ann Wilson, so she does a good vocal performance on that, but the rest is just heavy bangers, and it's a bit formulaic, but who cares at this point? If they have a method of writing songs that is pretty much proven to be good, then I don't care. My favorite song on the album is probably "Part of Me." That's the one where he goes the ooh ah, 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 pretty much like he does in Down with the Sickness almost. And just when I heard that, I was just like, yeah, Disturbed is back, baby. Number 8. Now to go on a weird, now for something completely different. Pain Remains by Lorna Shore. I wasn't surprised by the quality of this album because I knew with the singles leading up to it that this was going to be a good album, but just how good it was going to be, I didn't know. And this album is actually quite good. For all intents and purposes, I know a lot of people are probably not into the whole like pretty much like every riff being a breakdown, but I don't care. It's fun. And I also love the influence from like death and black metal and symphonic metal. It just adds for a really unique listening experience that, to be honest, I don't really get in much other deathcore, to this day. I mean, I'm sure there's tons of bands like Lorna Shore out there that I just don't know about, but for right now, this album is really great, and Will Ramos is awesome. He's definitely given new life to the band. Number 7 is Opus Contra Naturam by Behemoth. I liked this album so much that I bought it on CD, and I don't buy CDs that often, so that says something. No, in all seriousness, I mean, there is no way that the Behemoth's ever gonna top The Satanist or I Loved You at Your Darkest, but they get pretty close with this one. This one is really, really solid. Favorite songs on the album, I really like Deathless Sun, Of My Herculean Exile. That song actually has grown on me quite a bit since it came out. I like this slower, like moody kind of atmosphericness, if that's even a word, of the track. I also like Neo Spartacus, like Once Upon a Pale Horse, Thy Becoming Eternal. Obviously, Versus Christus is a pretty good closer. Yeah, just a really strong album from Behemoth. So if you like their kind of blend of death metal and black metal, definitely check this album out. Because Behemoth are my favorites when it comes to that style. Number 6, Vicious Cycle by Slackjaw. This is probably the most underground pick that I'm going to be doing for this one. But I don't care. Slackjaw is one of those few instances when a YouTuber does music and they do it right. So this is Soup's band. If you don't know who Soup is, he's like a funny moments YouTuber. He's on the Goons podcast. And obviously he has friends of his own that play, Brady and Jacob, that are awesome. And they just made this really kick-ass groove metal album. And Soup plays guitar, bass, and vocals. And then his friend Brady does the drums and lead guitar. So, yeah, this is a really strong album for a two-man band at this point. They're a three-man band now, but, whatever. But yeah, just really fun, really just pissed off, just fun groove metal. And, kind of almost like a modern day, like Pantera or Black Label Society, and I love that. Number 5, Slipknot, The End So Far. Oh, you probably would have guessed that, I'm such a huge Slipknot fan that I would have had this album at number 1 no matter what. No, I'm not. This isn't We Are Not Your Kind. We Are Not Your Kind, I absolutely adored. But The End So Far, it's different, but it's a good kind of different. Because it's not to say that it's super duper experimental, but I mean, when you have a song like Adderall that starts the album, that's when you know it's going to get interesting. And obviously there are some, songs that are just more like standard Slipknot. There's the Dying Song, there's the Chapeltown Rag, there's Hive Mind. But then there's also some songs like Yen and Medicine for the Dead and Heirloom that are a little bit different, and Acidic too, that are just they're a little different sounding, but it's still Slipknot. It still sounds like Slipknot, and that's what I like about this album. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. And also, I want to try to get this album on vinyl before they start printing it with The End So Far correctly, because that'd be kind of cool to have it say The End For Now. Number 4, Omens by Lamb of God. I loved the last album, the self-titled one from 2020. That's one of my favorite Lamb of God albums, and Omens is pretty much more of that sound. I like that they are starting to tune a little bit lower. More songs are in like drop C or drop B, and I really like that. It gives the album a whole new like heaviness to it that previous Lamb of God albums have, but not as much as this one, you know. So just really fun groove metal, kind of like what they said about the Slacktro album, but I don't know, I like this one a little better. Obviously it's a little higher in the list, but yeah, you can always count on Lamb of God to make a really good album, so that's what that is. And also I saw them live earlier this year and they were fucking awesome. Ibaraki Rashomon is number 3. Of course, you know, I have to have something Matt Heafy related or Trivium related in my top albums pretty much every year that they do something. But yeah, this is Matt Heafy's like solo black metal project that he's been working on for like the past 10 years, like since Shogun came out. So it's pretty cool to see that it's finally done, and it sounds the way that it does, because it pretty much is like Trivium with an extra dash of black metal, and I think that's really fucking cool. I love all the guest features, all of Ishan's work from Emperor. He's really cool. He does a lot of work on this one, a lot of guest features. He's cool. Nurgle from Behemoth does a feature on the song Akumu. And but probably my favorite guest feature has to go to Gerard Way of My Chemical Romance doing fucking harsh ass black metal screams on the song Ronin, which is also the longest song on the album. His part is just so cool, and it's just like, you know, if My Chemical Romance does another album, I hope some of those screams are on it, because holy fuck, that would be amazing. And so we got to my 2 favorites of this year. Number 2 is Megadeth, The Sick, The Dying, and The Dead. I'm not a huge like album guy when it comes to Megadeth. I kind of take like a handful of songs from each and just kind of just listen to that. But I could listen to pretty much every song on The Sick, The Dying, and The Dead, like for real. It is such a good album. I'd put it up there with, you know, Rest in Peace, Euthanasia, Countdown to Extinction, Peace Sells, But Who's Buying. You know, I'd put it in that same like league of albums that are just so legendary in Megadeth's catalog. It is that good. It's probably the band's heaviest too, because I mean they also tuned down like in Dystopia, but just this album just feels more savage, more brutal than Dystopia. I think because of Dave Mustaine being a cancer survivor. Yeah, he really went all out on this one. And also Dirk Verbeuren actually plays the drums on this one, so it's got that extra brutality, because, you know, he used to play in Soilwork. But yeah, Steve DiGiorgio from Testament does the bass on this album, which is incredible. And obviously Kiko Loureiro is just so awesome. he's become one of my favorite guitar players. Yeah, that's really all I have to say about Megadeth. My favorite song on the album? Maybe either the title track, or Life in Hell has really grown on me. Sorry if you heard the notification went off, but it's whatever. We do a little bit of goofing around here and there. And my album of the year is Impera by Ghost. And I just realized that my lo-fi music isn't working. There we go. That's weird. I didn't notice that. But going back on topic, Impera is such a monumental album by Ghost. You know, they've always had a different vibe for each record. You know, Opus is a little more doomy. Infestissimum is a little bit more like kind of satanic churchy kind of vibe. You know, Melior is more just standard heavy metal. Yes, I say Ghost is metal. Fuck off. Prequel is more like pop, more poppy, and then Impera is more like kind of like almost like a glam metal album. Like, you could put this next to like Van Halen and Motley Crue, and it kind of fits. It's like a more gothic version of Van Halen. So that's really awesome. But yeah, this is just a really fun album to listen to the whole way through. I could live without the interludes, honestly, but at this point, Ghost always does that, so it's not a huge complaint. But yeah, just like hearing all the singles come out in preparation for this. When I saw Ghost live on Valentine's Day this year, they opened with Kaiserion, which obviously wasn't out yet. And that was a really awesome experience, and just basically all the hype leading to this album, and then actually listening to the album when it came up and having it deliver, and all those deliver, it's just so good. And yeah, I fucking love Ghost, man. They've very quickly become one of my favorite bands of all time, because they're just so good. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. We're getting a little bit long here, so I won't keep you much longer. So have a happy holidays, have a Merry Christmas, or whatever the hell you celebrate. I don't care. No, I do care. But yeah, that's really about it. See you in 2023.